Hi guys, it's me Rena from Sandworks Crochet. In today's video we're going to see how many baby beanies I can crochet in one day. I have put myself on a personal goal that I want to donate a lot of items in the month of August. We're about like a third of the way through and I haven't actually had that many items, but I realized literally yesterday that I can make granny stitch beanies. And normally I hate making beanies because most beanie patterns require you to crochet like a flat panel and then just like stitch it together. I kind of hate that, primarily because in order for the top to be a little bit more cinched in, you have to do slip stitches, and I hate slip stitches. But a while ago, I got into making the crochet bucket hat. You know this thing, the granny stitch bucket hat? So I made quite a few of these last year. And as I was, making things for my donation goal, I was thinking, wait a minute, couldn't I just make a granny stitch beanie? I did some searching. Yes, you can make a granny stitch beanie. The first one I made is an adult size, and that's fine, but this took me all day. I kind of did my own variation of it, but yeah, like this is a basic granny stitch beanie. It's cute. Adult size, cool, we love it, slay. But this took me all day, and to make my donation goal, I need to make way more than just one beanie. But then I remembered children exist, and so children's heads are significantly smaller. So literally as I woke up this morning, and today's Sunday, I decided to crochet up a little baby version of the granny stitch beanie. I'd say this is like a baby or a toddler size hat, and charities will take this size hat, and I literally started and finished it this morning. So I was thinking, why not make a how many baby beanies can I make in one day video? This was significantly easier to make. And also it'll be a great way to use up yarn in my stash that I just don't really have a need for. Now, I know myself, I might have like a lofty goal when I start these challenges, but as I kind of taper off, I don't really want to finish them after a certain point. So I'm probably going to give myself a goal of 5 beanies, including this one. But let me walk you through some of the yarn choices I had in mind. Is the rest of this skein of my Big Twist Jelly Bean. I made both the adult and the baby version of this beanie with this yarn. I would like to finish up the skein. Another one is this scrap Big Twist Living skein that I had lying around. I first bought this to make a regular crochet beanie, and then I hated it, and so I frogged it, and now this has been like in my scrap pile for a very long time. Now I also want to try doing a chunky version of the baby beanie pattern I had, so I might try out this Loops and Threads Charisma, and if I get to it, I might try out more of the Big Twist yarn that I picked up during the Joann's liquidation sales. So this is Lollipop Twisty, this is Candy Cane Twisty, and this is another skein of Big Twist Jelly Bean in a different color. Those are the yarns I have planned. I weighed this. This is about 23 grams, and at least for the Jelly Bean skein, I think I can make 3 beanies out of this one skein. For the sake of keeping things interesting, I'm going to make my first beanie out of this Loops and Threads Charisma, just because I have it, and why not? Also, because I haven't moved in like the entire week, I'm going to be using a walking treadmill while I make the first hat, just so one, I can kind of like time myself, but also I'll essentially be working nonstop on the hat and get like a decent workout while I'm in it. Okay, that took me about 30 minutes to make this beanie. It ended up being an adult size beanie versus a kid size beanie, which is not a bad thing. It's funny because I was using the exact same pattern as this beanie, like, you know, except using chunkier yarn and a bigger hook. So I guess this is proof that you can make quick beanies with chunky yarn. But yeah, that took me about 30 minutes to make while walking on a treadmill, which is great because we love exercising. We need movement, according to my Apple Watch that I put in my pocket. I was walking pretty slowly on that too. So about 3,000 steps. I think I started off with 400 this morning because I did not move at all. So, okay, probably closer to 2,500 steps in that 30 minutes of making this beanie. So that's a good thing. Maybe that could be a inspiration for a future video later on, but right now I'm gross and sweaty. I think there's not a lot of circulation in this room because I could just feel like sweat dripping down my back, which doesn't normally happen unless there's no circulation. So I will get back to you and yeah. Okay, I have showered, changed, and eaten food. Let's pick my next color. I'm thinking I want to use this because I've had this for so long, and for some reason I've always used it for scraps, even though I basically had the whole skein of this yarn. And I think I've explained this before, but the reason why I basically wanted to get rid of this yarn is because when I first used it, I absolutely hated it. I was making a beanie, one of those like regular beanies. The yarn was dark and I think I have really tight tension, so like I couldn't see my stitches, and then also it split everywhere, so it was a hot mess express. And since then I have just relegated it to my scrap bin, and that is why I don't use it. But you know what? Let's actually use this for once to make something. It'll almost be a full circle moment where I bought it for a beanie, I failed to make the beanie, and now it gets turned into a beanie again. Now, for those of you wondering why I hate the yarn so much, this is why I hate the yarn so much. It splits like crazy. And now that I am done making this beanie, I never want to make another project with it. So here's a fun thing. I grabbed this yarn originally to make my beanies, and then it was way thicker than I initially thought. It felt super chunky to the point where I'm just gonna save this and this, because this is basically the same version except Christmas themed. I'm just gonna save these two for something else. However, that opens up my yarn options for these two skeins I have here, plus the one that's basically used, and maybe I might use these. I finished 2 more hats. I need to weave in ends, but you know, they're done. I have this much yarn left. I think it's enough to make 1 more, but I kind of don't want to play yarn chicken, so what I'm gonna do is make 2 hats with this as the body, and then use this as like a cuff color. But I'm gonna go like do some meal prep food making first, and then I'll get back to this. So far we have 5 hats made, which I mean was my goal to have at least 5 made. So now that I've technically reached my goal, I'm gonna take a chill for a little bit. Okay, I just finished making 2 more baby beanies. I might call it here for today, mainly because my hands are starting to cramp up and I'm feeling tired. If I make more later today, I'll make more. If I don't, I won't. But I'm gonna call it quits for now to rest my hands a little bit, and I'll probably check back with you tomorrow morning for the final roundup. Okay, it's the next morning. I ended up making 1 more baby beanie, and let's do a roundup. So in total, I made a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 beanies. I made 8 beanies, and that's pretty awesome. That definitely got me closer to like my donation goal at least too. So I'm pretty happy about that. I definitely could have made more, but you know what? Like, I think 8 finished products is a pretty good number. And I'm just so shocked by how easy this was to whip up. I will leave a pattern for this in the description below. I made modifications to make it smaller because the original pattern is an adult size beanie. So I did that, and I think I did the ribbing a little bit differently too. But other than that, I'm going to end my video here. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye!